Have you ever picked up a banana, a handful of grapes, or a glass of orange juice and suddenly wondered, could this be harming my kidneys? If you've been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, especially after the age of 50 or 60, you've probably experienced that exact moment of uncertainty. Foods you've eaten your entire life suddenly feel confusing, and every grocery trip becomes filled with questions instead of confidence. The truth is, many people with kidney disease aren't damaging their kidneys because they don't care. They're simply following advice that's incomplete, outdated, or taken out of context. Today, we're going to clear up that confusion together. Before we begin, I want to share something that surprises many people. The fruits that may not be ideal for one person with kidney disease could actually be perfectly appropriate for someone else with the stage of kidney disease. That may sound confusing, but by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. I'll also reveal one hidden mistake that thousands of kidney patients make every single day, a mistake that has very little to do with the fruit itself. Once you understand it, you'll never look at your grocery cart the same way again. Welcome back, and if this is your first time joining us, we're glad you're here. This channel is dedicated to helping adults over 50 better understand healthy aging, nutrition, and chronic medical conditions through practical, science-based information. Everything discussed today is for educational purposes and should always be personalized with the guidance of your nephrologist or registered renal dietitian. Let's begin with an important truth. Fruits are filled with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, fiber, and natural compounds that support overall health. They are not the enemy. The challenge for some people with chronic kidney disease is that certain fruits naturally contain higher amounts of potassium. Healthy kidneys remove excess potassium from the body, but as kidney function declines, some people may have difficulty keeping potassium within a safe range. High potassium levels can become dangerous because they may affect the normal rhythm of the heart. However, not every person with stage 3 or even stage 4 kidney disease develops high potassium. That's why blood test results are so important. One fruit that often appears at the top of kidney diet discussions is the banana. Bananas are incredibly nutritious. They provide fiber, vitamin B6, vitamin C, and potassium. For many healthy people, they're an excellent snack. But for individuals whose blood potassium levels are already elevated, eating large bananas every day may not be the best choice. Notice what I said, may not. The recommendation depends on your laboratory values, medications, and individual medical condition rather than a universal rule. Oranges and orange juice are another example. They're rich in vitamin C and have many nutritional benefits, but they also provide a significant amount of potassium. Drinking a large glass of orange juice can deliver much more potassium than many people realize because juice removes much of the filling fiber while concentrating the natural sugars and minerals. Whole fruit is generally a better choice than juice for many people because it provides more fiber and often leads to smaller portions. Avocados have become extremely popular over the last decade, especially among people trying to follow heart-healthy eating patterns. They're rich in healthy fats and nutrients, but they're also naturally high in potassium. For someone whose healthcare provider has recommended limiting potassium, eating large servings of avocado every day may require careful consideration. Again, this doesn't make avocados unhealthy. It simply means that nutrition recommendations should always match the individual. Dried fruits deserve special attention because many people assume they're healthier than fresh fruit. Raisins, dried apricots, dried dates, prunes, and similar products are made by removing water from fresh fruit. The nutrients become concentrated into a much smaller package. That means it's easy to consume several servings in just a few handfuls without realizing how much potassium, natural sugar, and calories you're eating. Portion size becomes incredibly important. Mangoes and cantaloupe are two more fruits that are naturally higher in potassium compared with some other options. Does this mean they're forbidden forever? Absolutely not. Some people with kidney disease can still include moderate portions if their blood potassium levels remain normal and their healthcare provider agrees. The key isn't fear, it's awareness. Now let's talk about coconut water because it's often promoted as one of the healthiest beverages available. Many advertisements describe it as a natural sports drink packed with electrolytes. While that's true, one of those electrolytes is potassium. In fact, some brands of coconut water contain surprisingly high amounts. For individuals who need to limit potassium, drinking large bottles of coconut water every day may not be the wisest choice without discussing it with their healthcare team. Here's where many people begin to feel overwhelmed, and that's completely understandable. You hear one expert praise bananas, another warns against them. One article recommends oranges, while another says to avoid them. If you've ever felt frustrated by conflicting nutrition advice, you're certainly not alone. The reality is that nutrition isn't about memorizing one list of good foods and another list of bad foods. It's about understanding how foods fit into your unique health picture. This leads us to the hidden mistake I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Many kidney patients spend all their energy worrying about one banana or one orange while completely overlooking something that may have a much greater impact on their kidney health. They ignore the overall quality of their diet. Highly processed foods loaded with sodium, packaged snacks, fast food meals, processed meats, and sugary beverages often place far greater stress on overall health than occasionally eating an appropriate portion of fruit. When you focus only on fruit, you may miss the bigger picture entirely. Here's something encouraging to remember. Every healthy decision you make throughout the day works together. Choosing lower sodium meals, staying physically active, managing diabetes, controlling blood pressure, taking medications exactly as prescribed, attending regular medical appointments, and understanding your laboratory results all contribute to protecting kidney function. No single fruit determines your future. It's your overall lifestyle that matters most. I'd love to hear from you because everyone's journey is different. Which fruit have you been avoiding since your kidney disease diagnosis? Bananas, oranges, avocados, dried fruit, or perhaps another favorite? Share your answer in the comments below because your experience may help someone else who has the same question. In just a moment, we'll uncover the rest of the hidden mistake that many kidney patients never realize they're making. We'll also discuss several fruits that are often easier to include in a kidney-friendly eating plan, explain why portion size is just as important as food selection, and explore practical shopping tips that can help you make informed choices with confidence rather than fear. Once you understand these principles, grocery shopping becomes much less stressful and much more empowering. Now let's continue by talking about the second part of that hidden mistake, because once you understand it, you'll see kidney nutrition in a completely different way. Many people believe they can protect their kidneys simply by avoiding a few specific fruits, yet they never look at the rest of their plate. Imagine spending all your energy removing bananas from your breakfast while continuing to eat processed meats, salty canned soups, frozen dinners, and restaurant meals packed with sodium. In many cases, that overall eating pattern has a much greater impact on blood pressure and long-term kidney health than a single serving of fruit. That's why the healthiest approach is to focus on your complete lifestyle instead of becoming afraid of one particular food. Another common misunderstanding is assuming that if one serving is good, 2 or 3 servings must be even better. This is where portion size becomes incredibly important. Even fruits that are generally considered more kidney-friendly can contribute a significant amount of potassium when eaten in very large quantities. Your body responds to the total amount you consume throughout the day, not just what you eat at one meal. Learning to enjoy reasonable portions often allows you to have a much more varied and satisfying diet while still supporting your health goals. You may also be surprised to learn that preparation matters. Whole fruit is usually a better choice than fruit juice because whole fruit contains natural fiber that helps slow digestion and keeps you feeling satisfied longer. Juice, on the other hand, can deliver a concentrated amount of natural sugar and potassium in just a few minutes. It's easy to drink the equivalent of several pieces of fruit without realizing it. That's one reason healthcare professionals often encourage whole fruit over juice whenever possible, unless your individual medical needs require something different. Let's also talk about food labels, because they can reveal information that many people overlook. Packaged fruit products, canned fruit and heavy syrup, fruit cocktails, sweetened dried fruit, and flavored fruit drinks may contain added sugars, sodium, or other ingredients that don't support overall health. Reading labels carefully can help you make more informed decisions. Sometimes two products sitting side by side on the grocery shelf look almost identical, yet one contains far less sodium or added sugar than the other. Those small choices, repeated over months and years, can make a meaningful difference. Blood pressure deserves special attention because it's one of the most important factors in slowing the progression of chronic kidney disease. If your blood pressure stays consistently high, it can place additional stress on the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys. That's why following your treatment plan, taking medications as prescribed, reducing excess sodium when recommended, staying physically active, and attending regular medical appointments are all essential pieces of the puzzle. Fruit is only one part of a much larger picture. If you also have diabetes, managing blood sugar becomes equally important. High blood sugar over time can damage the kidneys, making careful nutrition even more valuable. Whole fruits can absolutely fit into many diabetes meal plans because they provide fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. The goal isn't to avoid fruit altogether, but to understand appropriate portions and choose a balanced eating pattern that supports both blood sugar and kidney health. Working with a registered dietitian can make this process much easier because your meal plan can be tailored specifically to your needs. Now, after hearing about several fruits that may need more attention, you might be wondering whether there are fruits that are often easier to include in a kidney-friendly eating plan. For many people, fruits such as apples, berries, grapes, pears, peaches, pineapples, and plums may be appropriate options in reasonable portions, depending on individual potassium levels and guidance from their healthcare provider. The important point is not to memorize one universal list, but to understand that your personal blood test results should guide your choices. As you begin to notice these small but meaningful changes in the way you think about food, something interesting often happens. Grocery shopping becomes less stressful. Instead of feeling anxious every time you walk through the produce section, you begin making thoughtful decisions with confidence. You stop asking, "Is this fruit good or bad?" and start asking, "How does this fit into my overall meal plan?" That simple shift in thinking can make healthy eating feel much more achievable. I'd love to ask you another question because this community learns from one another every day. Since making changes to your diet, what has been the biggest challenge for you? Is it understanding potassium, reducing sodium, controlling portion sizes, drinking enough water, or simply knowing what information to trust? Leave your answer in the comments because someone else watching this video may be encouraged by your experience or your advice. Now let's come back to the promise I made at the very beginning. I said I would reveal the biggest hidden mistake many kidney patients make. The answer is this: they become so focused on avoiding individual foods that they forget to manage the factors that truly have the greatest influence on long-term kidney health. Protecting your kidneys is about controlling blood pressure, managing diabetes if you have it, following your prescribed medications, eating a balanced diet, staying physically active, avoiding smoking, limiting excess sodium when advised, and working closely with your healthcare team. Fruit is part of that journey, but it is not the entire journey. Perhaps the most reassuring message I can leave you with today is that a diagnosis of chronic kidney disease does not mean your favorite foods disappear forever. It means learning how to make informed, personalized choices. Every person's kidneys are different, every medical history is different, and every treatment plan should be individualized. That's why your nephrologist and registered renal dietitian are your greatest partners. They can interpret your blood work, monitor your potassium levels, and help you build a meal plan that supports both your health and your enjoyment of food. Remember, healthy aging isn't about chasing perfection. It's about making small, consistent decisions that move you in the right direction. Every balanced meal, every walk around the neighborhood, every healthy grocery choice, every follow-up appointment, and every question you ask your healthcare provider is another investment in your future. Those choices may seem small today, but over time they become powerful habits that support your overall well-being. Thank you for spending these moments with me. I hope today's discussion has replaced confusion with clarity and fear with confidence. If you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend or family member who is living with kidney disease. Together, we can continue learning practical, evidence-based ways to support healthy aging and make informed decisions every single day. Until next time, take good care of yourself, stay curious, stay hopeful, and remember that your health is built one thought